1 year after Mayo was turned over to authorities and the unaliving of Cuén, which sparked the war in Sinaloa. This is the ranch right here. So you mean to tell me that those bodyguards, they stood right here, they said, okay, boss. And he went in there. And then they was like, oh, man, he's taking too long to come out, man. We should just go home. I don't think he's coming. And then they bounce, and then they find out later that, he got snatched. Come on, man. The news. And we were right here when it went down, right on this live stream. The news on July 25th, 2024, 1 year ago. News of the arrest of El Yoma Zambada began to spread like wildfire in international, national, and Sinaloa media, as well as on social media and WhatsApp groups. But it wasn't the only news. There was also talk of the arrest of Joaquin Lopez, son of El Pocha. That same day, the Attorney General of the neighboring country, Merrick B. Garland, confirmed that Yoma and Pocha's sons were detained in El Paso, Texas. Both were accused of multiple counts of criminal activity, as well as being part of the country's Fediwap manufacturing and trafficking network. The hours passed, the news shook Sinaloa and the country, and no federal authority issued a statement. Oh, everybody was quiet. We was the only one talking about it. Hit the like button, y'all. The hours passed. The news shook Sinaloa and the country, and no federal authority issued a statement. It was the following day, July 26, when then President of the Republic, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, you remember that guy, he thought he was Hulk Hogan, because when those people were begging to get information about what happened to their children, and they were screaming at him, he went like this. Fuck that guy. Right? I don't care if he's your president, your politician, Democrat, Republican, this party, that party, house party, hip-hop party. I don't give a fuck. All right? You put your ear like this to people grieving over lost loved ones, you're a piece of shit. Sorry. He asked his Secretary of Security and Citizen Protection, Rosa Isela Rodriguez, to provide the information they had. The federal official stated that it was at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 25th, when a call was received from the U.S. Embassy alerting them to the custody of both drug traffickers. The identities of both alleged criminals were later verified, prompting the Mexican government to request a photo and notify the Secretaries of the Navy and the Ministry of National Defense. At the same time, Rosa emphasized that the Mexican government did not participate in the arrest or surrender, and they will continue to collaborate with the United States, she said, leaving more questions than answers for Mexicans and unnerving the people of Sinaloa, who, although they imagined what was coming, never realized the magnitude of this war fueled by drone attacks and explosive devices. Zambada's letter. 16 days. So 16 days I got cussed out. 16 days I got cussed out by people telling me that I was stupid because I didn't believe that man turned himself in. Because he was so untouchable. Everybody's untouchable until they not. You know what I'm saying? None of these fools are snitches until they are. Nobody does the time that they say that they're going to take because they a man until they do it. Because how many fools get in there and they like, yeah, I'm going to stand tall. And then they catch them a Rule 35 and they fly. The deed got to be done. So 16 days. And then when we got this letter, people said that's bullshit. That's from his lawyer. That ain't even from him. Come on, man. You guys don't want the answer. You want to keep pushing the goalposts. 16 days after Mayo was arrested, he broke his silence and shared a letter through his lawyer describing what happened on July 25th at the Huertos de Pedregal farm in Culiacán, Sinaloa, where he had supposedly been summoned to resolve the political conflict at the Autonomous University of Sinaloa. A political conflict between Governor Rocha and Melesio Cuén, right? That's crazy right there. If Rocha's in the middle of this the way I think he is, because there ain't been no motive on why they took out Cuén. Why take him out? Why take him out? He wasn't worth delivering? to the United States. You didn't have nothing on him. Like, you put yourself in some shit, Mr. Rocha.
Oye, ¿y el Rocha? ¿Y el Rocha? Bueno, ¿y el Rocha?
In the letter, which was released on August 10th, Zambada stated that he was the victim of an ambush orchestrated by Joaquin, son of El Pocha, who allegedly snatched him to hand him over to the United States government. I want to say from the outset that I did not surrender. And I did not come to the United States voluntarily. There is never enough evidence for a fool. Somebody was in the comments yesterday talking about it was probably on the Matthew Cox video. Just the fact that you dummies believe Chopper in prison is hilarious. So now Chopper's not really in prison. It's a different guy in there. Shut the fuck up, man.
No, mommy's
the conspiracy theories is crazy, man. You guys could be using that energy in so many better ways than sitting around holding on to your biased hopes and dreams because you're a nut hugger. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all look like, right? That's just confirmation bias. You don't want the truth. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Miguel Sanchez, man. Chopper's at this crib right now. You know what I'm saying? That dude's sitting at the table having a meal, having a cold beer. You know what I mean? Staying hydrated. But yeah, so please, I can't even talk to you if you're going to tell me that Chopper's not in prison. I can't even talk to you if you tell me that's a different person, that's not my Zambada. I can't talk to you. It's a waste of my energy. You'll say anything. I want to say from the outset that I did not surrender. And I did not come to the United States voluntarily, nor did I have any agreement with either government. On the contrary, I was snatched and brought to the United States by force and against my will. According to his account, Joaquin requested a meeting with Yoma to resolve some political differences in Sinaloa. Yoma shared that he arrived at the meeting place before 11 a.m., accompanied by 4 members of his security detail. 2 remained outside of the perimeter. Are those 2 that remained outside of the perimeter the ones that went to go get sodas? Are those the 2 that were on the news, supposedly, or one of the 2 that was on the news yesterday, supposedly, with a scream mask on, talking about, we brought him there, but he never came out, and then we saw the picture. That's your story? 2 were left outside. Did the 2 left outside not hear hammer fire? They didn't hear nothing? I'd respect them more if they say, yeah, we heard, and we hauled ass. I'd respect that more than to question my intelligence on the shit. Accompanied by 4 members of his security detail. 2 remained outside the perimeter while others entered with him. Jose Rosario Heras Lopez, commander of the Judicial Police of the state of Sinaloa, and Rodolfo Chaidez, a longtime member of his security team. On the way to the meeting area, he saw Cuén Ojeda and one of his aides. All right, Cuén was the politician that was having problems with Rocha, who's the governor now of Sinaloa, whom he greeted briefly. So the old man saw Cuén, greeted him. When he met Joaquin, the latter gestured for him to follow him. So Joaquin said, "Come on, Padrino, follow me," and they led him to another darkened room. As soon as I set foot inside that room, I was ambushed. A group of men assaulted me, threw me to the floor, and placed a dark-colored hood over my head. They tied me up and handcuffed me and then forced me into the back of a pickup truck, recalled Zambada, who asserted that he was subjected to physical abuse that caused injuries to his back, knees, and wrists. So you didn't walk in there? There's only one thing that strikes me as I read this again. You didn't say nothing about you walk in there and they smoked your security in front of your face. Or do you get to that? Did they knock you down first or did they knock security down first? I feel like you're not much of a threat, old man. Were these security guys outside of the room? We don't know none of these things, you know. We probably never will at this point. That's CIA shit. Later, they took him to a landing strip where they forced him onto a private plane with only the pilot, Joaquin, and himself on board. The flight lasted approximately 3 hours to El Paso, Texas, where U.S. agents were already waiting for him. Who made that phone call, huh? There's no cooperation. There was definitely some kind of phone call. Who'd you call? You dial, who did Joaquin call? Did you dial 911? Or did the U.S. government know everything that was happening and everything that was going down? And here's the thing. You could be wrong. It's when you fight the truth, when the truth does come out, so that you can be right. That's out of pocket. Because this is for the people that said, he's too noble. He wanted to see his kids. He turned himself in. The notion that I voluntarily surrendered and or cooperated is completely and unequivocally false. I was brought to this country by force and under duress, without my consent and against my will. That's it. Just like they told the twins they had to put in work and get that recording. Lil Guzman had to work. There you go. There you go. Here's my question to you, Beezy. You think he got more help than they did? You know what I'm saying? They got told, hey man, okay, sure, you want to do that? All right, no problem. Figure it out. Get it done. Get it done. Sent them off. He needed a pilot. Was that his pilot? What happened to the pilot that was flying that plane? Did he jump out, cross the border and go back, or did he live on this side? And again, I'm willing to say that this is a bigger mission, probably. I don't know. See, J&P might be like, get the fuck out of here. But they might have needed this much help. You know what I'm saying? They had a whale in the trunk of that plane. But it seems like they got a little bit more help. And everybody just say, Joe no Sabo, I didn't see nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. What if the play is to move the whole Guzman immediate over with immunity? I mean, they pretty much did that. That's why people say, oh, when a video gives them this, gives them that. My thing is, a video had to have given them something already. For them to have said, hey, load them up in the plane, bring them over here. While we're deporting people, you bring them in here. Don't worry about it. He had to give them something. Maybe I'm wrong. My frame of reference and the only ones that I could ask that have dealt with the feds would be the twins. And say, does that sound likely? Well, the twins ain't gave that's what I'm saying. It was a bigger mission. They came in there with a whale. The twins came with a recording of a whale. The only thing they had to do to step it up was throw that motherfucker in the trunk and drive him across the border. The name and probably better relationship with the DEA than the twins had. Yeah, Guzman's probably been working for a long time, maybe decades. Yoma even told Vicente he could eat. Gave his blessing. Yeah, they had meetings. This is what you do when the shit hits the fan. A video gets extradited and all of a sudden after 50 years, Yoma gets tricked into getting snatched. Didn't Pocha turn on his own cousins, Beltrans, to get Ivan out? The betrayal starts from the beginning, and I got a series that I'm working on. I'm one video in. I want to have a couple of them in the can before I drop them. But the betrayal is what built the Sinaloa cartel, and it's been that. It's been constantly that, and it's something that you got to look at. If a person's willing to break every other rule in society, what makes you think that they're gonna be loyal to you? And if a person is willing to break every other rule in society, what makes you think they won't break their own golden rule and talk? It's just what people do. Boy, man, that was a crazy couple of weeks, man. We was getting videos of the plane, and people were talking about the plane, and that's this person's plane, and it was over here. In the worlds I cover, cartel, crime, corruption, there's always one thing for sure. Someone's always watching. Whether it's a wiretap, a rat, or your internet service provider. You're never really protected unless you protect yourself. That's why I use NordVPN. It locks down my connection, hides my IP, and lets me browse safely, even while researching the darkest corners of the internet. Whether I'm streaming, editing, or reacting to body cam footage, NordVPN makes sure that I'm not giving up my location or my data. You can connect to over 6,000 servers in 60 countries. Want to watch something blocked in your region? Boom, one click. Or you just need protection on sketchy Wi-Fi. Automatic. If you're watching Shy Ill Reacts, you already know how dangerous exposure can be. So lock down your digital life. Grab NordVPN at nordvpn.com/ILL. Use my link and get huge discounts. Don't be the one getting caught slipping. Protect yourself with NordVPN. Investigation timeline. In August 2024, the Attorney General's office requested the case and opened an investigation against Yoma and Joaquin for the possible crimes of illegal flight, illegal use of air facilities, violation of immigration and custom laws, snatching, treason, and any other related charges. The agency requested all relevant information from the governor of Sinaloa, Ruben Rocha Moya.
Oye, ¿y el Rocha? ¿Y el Rocha? Bueno, ¿y el Rocha?
Which he provided to authorities in the media, demonstrating that he had not been in Sinaloa on the day of the alleged meeting at the farm. He said he wasn't in Sinaloa, bro. You know? He wasn't in Sinaloa. According to him. He's been there, according to him, but we ain't seen him. Has anybody seen him? I heard he went to get a haircut. That he had not been in Sinaloa on the day of the alleged meeting at the farm. He also clarified that he was never aware of the meeting and that Yoma had likely been summoned under false pretense. In February 2025, Attorney General Alejandro Gertz Manero confirmed that the Mexican government had requested Yoma Zambada's repatriation to Mexico from the moment he was arrested in the United States, as he has 3 arrest warrants against him in Mexico. Now, they're sticking to the story of Melesio Cuén being smoked in that gas station. Unaliving of Hector Melesio Cuén Ojeda. That same July 25th, 2024, the day of the surrender of Yoma, along with the son of Pocha, half a surrender, I guess. Already after 9 p.m., Sinaloa was shaken again by the news of the attack on the leader of the Partido Sinaloense, Hector Melesio Cuén Ojeda, at a gas station located on the Mexico 15 International Highway near the town of La Presita, north of Culiacan. He was transferred to a private hospital in the city of Culiacan, but it was reported that he had arrived without vital signs. Reporters crowded outside the clinic, broadcasting live, still in disbelief at what was happening. I'm still not buying that gas station video. Not buying it. And let me ask you something. Come on, man. I guess they do expect you to believe it, and most people will, because people believe ridiculous things, right? But dude's telling you that they snatched me to go be at this meeting with this guy, and then somehow that guy randomly gets smoked somewhere else at a gas station, and it's not connected. They try to jack him. Stop. It's kind of ridiculous. However, in the letter in which Yoma describes how he was snatched, he revealed that Cuén was unalived on the same ranch at the exact same time he was taken from the farm to the United States. I know that the official version, not just official version, they gave us video, bro. They gave us video. I know that the official version given by Sinaloa state authorities is that Hector Cuén was shot on the night of July 25th at a gas station by 2 men on a motorcycle who wanted to steal his truck. That is not what happened. They unalived him at the same time and in the same place where I was snatched. He lamented that the unaliving of someone he considered his friend, as well as the disappearance of 2 members of the security team, they remain missing to this day. On August 2024, the Attorney General's office complained about inaccuracies in the investigation conducted by the Attorney General's office of the state of Sinaloa into the unaliving of Hector Melesio Cuén Ojeda. Among the most notable are the autopsy did not correctly establish the immediate cadaveric signs, temperature, thanatological signs, lividity, or the correct description and evolution of the body. In August 2024, the Attorney General's office complained about inaccuracies in the investigation conducted by the Attorney General's office of the state of Sinaloa into the unaliving of Hector Melesio Cuén Ojeda. Among the most notable are the autopsy did not correctly... This guy keeps repeating shit, man. The body has severe bruising on the head. The body was shot 4 times in the legs. The gas station video has sound, but only 1 shot can be heard. The crime scene and vehicle have not been criminally processed. Although there are human stains in the truck's bed, there are no expert reports or determinations on the matter. Nor have all the authorities. So that's what Velez was talking about last time. Velez was talking about that they found the red liquid in the back of the whip. You know? In the back of the whip. In the back of that same truck. Nor have all authorities involved complied with the body preservation measures allowing cremation. Oh, and they cremated him right away. That's right. Which is contrary to criminalistic practices for unaliving investigations. He was cremated under 24 hours. Rocha mysteriously was in L.A.
Oye, ¿y el Rocha? ¿Y el Rocha? Bueno, ¿y el Rocha?
And Cuén had been saying that weird shit was going around his house before being unalive, but that went to waste. This is where these guys walked up. Dude basically opened the car. You hear a shot. Boom. Truck takes off. Why is there stuff in the bed of the truck? And why is that old man saying he got smoked in the same room where I was standing? Why? The farm in Huertos de Pedregal. On August 21st, Attorney General's office agents located the farm named San Julian, Santa Julia, where the alleged meeting was held, where Zambada Garcia was snatched to be handed over to the United States government, and it is now known where Cuén Ojeda was unalived. The property is located on the right side at the end of the main avenue in a rural area near the Bella Vista police station, part of the Culiacancito municipality. It has a large wall with an electric fence at the top, security gates, a large pool, thatched roofs, grills, and a beautiful gardens with palm trees. At first glance, traces of dried body fluid were visible on the access ramp to the main entrance gate of the property. So I'm thinking that pretty much the dudes that were outside, they got smoked too. They never found the other 2, but they probably left 2 out front. I don't know. What do I know, right? In October 24, the Attorney General's office reported that bodily fluid was found on the property, which federal forensics units have accurately determined correspond to the former rector of the Autonomous University of Sinaloa, Hector Melesio Cuén Ojeda. So they got his DNA. This confirms that the person was present at the scene of the snatching and that his fluid stains correspond to the time the federal public prosecutor's office has established as the time of his unaliving, which occurred many hours before the locally released video of a gas station, which has since been dismissed by the FGR itself, by the same people that gave it to us. Everybody want to talk about these low-level rats and shit. Talk about these rats in the media that keep lying to you stupid motherfuckers. Huh? Talk about these political rats. Talk about these chomos. You don't want to talk about that. The fuck? Meanwhile, everybody doing deals on each other. He got a deal. You get a deal. They get a deal. Fuck out of here. I don't like sneaky, dirty, rotten, conniving, backstabbing, two-faced people. Right? Let alone, I'm not protecting no rats, no snitches, no none of that shit. I can't trust you with a secret. You're putting that category for me. You know what I'm saying? But when you're obsessed with that shit and they're all doing the same shit, then it's just part of the game. Part of the game like the money, part of the game like the bitches, part of the game like the flash and the pizzazz. That's what it is. So the same people, the same government that told you that that was what happened to him in that gas station. Look at the video. Look. Those are the same people that now say, oh, we was wrong. Oh, yeah? Where'd you get that tape? What happened with that truck? What was that story? Nobody got shot right there? What happened? They don't want to talk about that shit. It's also reported that human red fluid was found in the bed of the vehicle corresponding to Rodolfo C., currently missing. All right, so they got the DNA on that. So that's one of the bodyguards. As his bodyguard, a member of his security team. For all of the above reasons, the Attorney General's office has initiated an investigation into the Attorney General's office, right? you know. And then there's the governor
Oye, y el Rocha. Y el Rocha.
who runs all
Bueno,
that
y
shit,
el Rocha.
who at the beginning of the war in Sinaloa said that they had to take away all of the hammers from the local police, to quality check their weapons. And they were without weapons during the crazy, it's just the craziest, dirtiest fucking movie you ever seen in your life. Alleged criminal administrative responsibilities of police officers, public prosecutors, experts, and various personnel from the Attorney General's office of the state of Sinaloa have already been thoroughly investigated for their involvement in the unaliving of Hector Melesio Cuén. But y'all didn't get to that farm until August. And you still managed to find some shit. Look at the size of that place. This is that entrance over here. Which one of these rooms was it? I would assume the farthest or the closest. No, they don't care about nobody hearing nothing. There's nobody to hear out here. Boom. This is that angle we were at. Message of calm overtaken by reality. Days after Zambada's surrender and given the context of the conditions in which it had taken place, journalists asked the defense commander if they expected the violence in Sinaloa to escalate. And the answer was no. I think not. But we will remain alert. We are prepared for any situation with sufficient force to react to any eventuality. After this arrest, things have been relatively calm. Things changed, and then a war between criminal groups would ensue, taking the streets as a battlefield and driving back the population. September 9th. Once the farm was located in August and the letter confirming the rumors was revealed, Ismael Zambada had been ambushed and handed over by force to the United States. On September 9th, a shootout that left several soldiers wounded and one unalive marked the beginning of the war between the two factions of the Sinaloa cartel. On the one hand, the Zambadas, fury over the surrender of Yoma, and the others, the Chapitos, defending the territory and containing the backlash attacks for having handed Yoma over to the U.S. government. At the end of his letter, Yoma sent a message. I also call on the people of Sinaloa to exercise restraint and maintain peace in our state. Nothing is resolved with violence. We've traveled that path, and we all lose, he concluded. A message that was evidently not heeded by the groups that unleashed an era of shootouts fueled by explosive devices, executions, snatchings, and red fluid-thirsty narco messages accompanied by mutilated bodies, tire punching in public spaces, attacks on homes, and assaults on the Mexican army and police in Sinaloa. This has now lasted more than 10 months, resulting in the unaliving of innocent people in the crossfire. Absolutely, children. Filthy, rotten motherfuckers. Today in Sinaloa, in addition to local police forces, there are federal reinforcements with more than 15,000 members of the Army, Navy, National Guard, and the Secretariat of Security and Citizen Protection. Omar Harfouk and President Shaitabam Security Cabinet are constantly visiting to restore peace and tranquility to the people of Sinaloa. Despite the results of more than 1,500 arrests, the seizures of thousands of firearms, or even though there are less ugly days than at the beginning, the questions for the people of Sinaloa remains, when will the violence end? It won't, unfortunately. We ain't learned nothing new. And the more that I heard about 2 missing bodyguards. I heard about 2 other ones. I heard about red fluid being found, DNA of Melesio Cuén, right? But I haven't heard officially about an assistant getting away, and I doubt an assistant's going to get away in this situation, all right? And we heard a lot of things.